Hi everyone! Today I'm finally doing the second random book video. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will leave a link to my video that I filmed several months ago in which I was going to go to the library and pick up a random book, and I was going to make it a series of videos. I've only done one so far and the link will be down below again for you to check out. It was a bit of a failure, I would say. But this time I went to the library and picked up two random books, so now I am here with one of them. The book that I'm going to be talking about today is The Timekeeper by Mitch Albom. I saw the cover and the title and it spoke to me, so I thought I would read it. In that video also I made a structure for myself for the future videos how I'm going to be discussing this book, the random books. So let's go through my structure. The first one is the plot and the genre of this book. To be honest, I don't know what genre it will be at all, but I'm going to tell you the plot. So this book is about this man who was trying to measure the time when obviously it wasn't possible to measure time, and he was the first time, that's why he's called Father Time in this book. And he was punished and he was put in a cave to live by himself for 6,000 years. But then one day he's given freedom and he goes back to normal world, but he needs to save two people. So one of them is a teenage girl who's about to kill herself, and the other one is an old man who wants to live forever. The second thing I should be talking about is if it is what I thought it would be or not. To be honest though, I think yes, because I looked at the cover and I obviously knew that it was something about the time, and obviously the timekeeper says that it's not really kind of our real world. Well, I mean it is, but the Father Time is not something that exists in real life. So yes, it was kind of something that I expected. The third thing should be if I liked it or not. Yes, I did like this book. And then what I liked about this book. To be honest, I liked how short this book is. It's just over 200 pages. I liked how short the chapters are. I like the storylines, basically the three storylines, especially one of them about the girl. It was probably my favorite storyline for some reason. And yeah, I liked the plot in general. I liked how it came to a conclusion. So basically I liked everything about this book. The next thing I should be talking about is what I didn't like about it. To be honest, there's nothing that comes to my mind that I didn't like about this book. Now I'm going to go into specifics of this book before I forget. I give this book 3.5 stars. I mean, it was interesting, it was very unusual and weird book in a good way, but it wasn't enough for me to love it. I'm not sure why. So basically there are three storylines. The first one is about Father Time and his life before he came to that cave, how things were going and everything, and a little bit of how he was in the cave. And then actually made me think, what would happen to a normal person if they were in a cave with no one else there for 6,000 years? I think everyone would go mad, but it didn't happen in this book. So the second storyline is about this girl who is trying to kill herself, like I said before. I was just interested in how it was going to go. I sympathized with her a lot and she's a nice character. I really liked her. So this was probably my favorite storyline. It is a bit depressing. The whole book from time to time felt a bit kind of depressing. It had a depressing feeling about it for some reason, but not all the time, so I can't say it. And the third storyline was about this man who wanted to live forever. He's a really, really rich man and he would like to freeze himself. That actually made me think, is that a real thing, freezing people so that they would be awakened in the future and everything? And there's also something mentioned about the future, and oh my god, it made me think about the future as well. How things could be different in the future from how they are now, where the world's going. I just had so many thoughts about the world, and to be honest, I'm a bit terrified of the future. Like centuries in the future or even decades in the future. I'm a bit terrified about that. I'm not going to go into detail because I have so many thoughts on things, how things could be, and it is terrifying for me. But anyway, I was thinking of freezing people, how it is possible, and then one day they would wake up and what they will see, what kind of world they will see, how they will feel, everything about it. And it's just so interesting and fascinating to think about it. I would never do it to myself because I'd just be probably terrified about what could happen in the future to me, or what things could be, what if it's completely different, what if it's horrible, and all that kind of thing. So yeah, and also this book is definitely about appreciating your time, about appreciating your every single minute, every single second. It is a really thought-provoking book. Another aspect that I thought, it is mentioned in this book as well, is what would happen if we actually didn't learn how to count the time. If we didn't know what time it was, when the sun would go down, when the night would come, how would we live then? Like animals, knowing nothing about the world, just depending on every single minute, if you can call it like that, if we didn't count the time. Do you know what I mean? How everything would go. You know, this is a weird book and made me think of weird, unusual things, but that's probably why I liked this book so much. Well, not so much, 3.5 stars is not a very high rating, but I still really enjoyed it. Next thing I should be talking about is characters. Father Time, we don't really get to see him as much as a character. He's a good man trying to survive in his life because there's something happening in his life. And then he came to that cave. We don't really get to see much of him, and so I don't really have a strong opinion on him. I think I like him as a character, but I don't have strong feelings towards him. The girl, like I said, I really sympathize with her. She's really nice and I really liked her. So she was just a normal teenage girl who was very conscious of her body. And the third storyline about the man, I didn't really like that man. I'm not sure what it was about him, but I just didn't like him. I didn't like how he sort of treated his wife and how he was obsessed with living forever. I mean, I understand it. I have this fear of getting old, and yeah, it's one of my fears, to be honest, to get old. But yeah, living forever is something that might be really, really scary. If you think about it again, I was terrified of the future. Oh my god, I have so many thoughts reading this book, and thinking about it now makes me deeply in thought, basically, but it's scary. The next thing should be the writing style. I never have anything to say about the writing style because I have no idea what to say about it, but in this case I could say about the structure. So it is basically set like that, very short chapters, so you're flying through the book and it keeps you going. You're never bored by this book, you want to keep reading. It is really, really interesting and makes you think about a lot of things. So yeah. The next thing I should be discussing is what it gave me in general, like to know more of my reading taste and everything. It didn't actually make me realize anything about the books that I like, because I liked this book, but then there's not a lot different from what I normally read. The only thing, like I said, it made me think a lot about a lot of different things. That's probably the only thing that I can say about this book. So yeah, in general, I'm quite happy with this random pick. So the second book was definitely much better than my first one. So yeah, please tell me in the comments if you've read this book or if you're planning to read this book after my sort of review. I'm not even sure if I gave you enough details or if you're interested enough in it or not. Let me know. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully the next random video will go very soon as well, but I need to read that random book again as well. So thank you for watching. Bye.